Michael also, like Beyonce, they say that they don't really write their
I want
rhymes.
people to stop bringing up Michael Jackson's name whenever they talk about music.
Well, no, Tank said Chris Brown is better in every category. Do we have that clip? Yeah. Tank, who I deem like I revere Tank when it comes to anything music, R&B related.
Tank is a fucking phenomenal artist, writer, a dope person. I like Tank. I fuck with Tank. But if Tank is saying that Chris Brown is a better writer and a better producer and is better vocally than Michael Jackson,
well,
Tank he's sadly mistaken.
He was talking with Stephen A. Smith, right? I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And was suggesting that Chris Brown is the evolution of everybody, whether it be Michael, him, Genuine, like Chris is that. He's the evolution, which he made a great comparison. He said there's Magic Johnson and then there's LeBron James. That didn't tie it together for you?
Nah, not at all. I've never heard nobody compare
which
LeBron
is cool.
to Magic.
We all get behind a microphone or have an interview or talk with someone and say some outlandish shit. And as men, we need to walk back some of our statements. Tank did the opposite. He doubled down and explained his point further within the comments. On IG, he said, vocal ability, Michael Jackson, Chris Brown. Chris takes it there. Writing ability, Chris Brown is better. Producing ability, Chris Brown is better. Dancing ability, Chris Brown is better.
The only thing that I would ever even argue about Chris Brown being better than Michael is dancing.
Yeah, I think
I've had that discussion. I feel like Chris is a better dancer than Mike. Chris is not a better entertainer, and Chris Brown has said this. He's spoken about this. He's not a better entertainer than Mike. And I don't even know how we in 2024 we're even having this conversation. But it's not Michael Jackson. If Michael Jackson was in this era of social media, where everything goes viral, performances, the shit, it wouldn't make any sense that anybody is that big of a star. You look at Michael's live performances now today, and I mean, it's not even just he was bigger than life. You know what I mean? Like Chris is a great artist, great entertainer. Has great music. I love Chris Brown. I think he's one of the best artists we've ever had. But we talking about Michael Jackson. Like this is not even. It's not even in the same. It's not even in the same world. It's like Michael Jackson is otherworldly. Okay. When you're talking about entertainer and artist.
Well, I'm not here to advocate for the devil. I promise. Let's go through the categories. Maybe Tank has a point.
No, he doesn't.
Can we pull the... We've seen Michael Jackson dance before, Julian. Can we go back to the categories? Vocal ability. You don't think it's a conversation between Michael Jackson and Chris Brown?
No.
You don't think Chris Brown is in the same conversation as Michael Jackson as a vocalist?
No, he's not.
No.
I can go to when Michael Jackson was singing at 6, 7 years old, and everything he was singing is better than anything Chris Brown has sung. At 7 years old.
Not the songs. Vocal, just straight up raw vocals.
Yes, at 7, 8 years old.
No, I'll Be There Too. But
so what are we talking about?
Both of their careers.
You want to go to Off the Wall? Should I play Off the Wall, the album for you?
I've heard
just
it before.
So you hear like vocals.
Okay.
It's not even close.
I'm gonna lean Michael too, but I think there's an actual conversation that someone could debate between Chris Brown of vocals.
No, there's not.
Another person I think is underrated when it comes to vocals is Christopher Brown. I don't think people give his fucking credit at all. I think he's in the conversation with Michael Jackson when it comes to vocals.
That may be true, but you can't say somebody is underrated and then say there's a conversation that he may be better vocally than Michael Jackson. If there's even a conversation that you may be a better vocalist than Michael Jackson, then you're not underrated as a vocalist.
Okay, second category, and this is why I wanted to go through these. If we go by what you said with Drake versus Mariah, of somebody that had the ability to write in different genres, Chris Brown, by your standard, would be deemed the better writer than Michael Jackson. Chris has raps, straight up R&B, pop music, dancehall, Afro beats. Chris has written everything and at a high level. So I see what Tank is saying, especially based off what you're saying. If someone has that vast of a pen where they can go in any genre and shine, I'm going to say Chris Brown might be a better writer than Michael Jackson. Not writing music, but writing lyrics.
Hell nah. You sick as fuck.
Producing ability, I didn't want to have that conversation. Michael Jackson.
The only conversation we should be having is dancing.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm with you. I'm with Tank on that. I think Chris Brown is a better dancer than Michael Jackson. I don't think Chris Brown's a better entertainer than Michael Jackson, but I think he's a better dancer. But I also think the twins are better dancers than Michael Jackson. Like, dancing. I don't think they're better entertainers.
But to his point of evolution, I can see it in the dancing. Like, I think Chris probably was more of an evolution of Usher than he was of Michael. Like, dancing just had to step up more and more from when the Jacksons were around.
Yeah.
So, people weren't expecting Mike to do a backflip. We'd seen the moonwalk. Like, Chris now has to do something.
That is the one thing that I think, and I'm, a huge Chris Brown fan. I'm one of the biggest Michael Jackson fans. That is the one thing that I will say Chris probably has over Mike is dancing. Entertainer, there's nobody that comes close.
And this isn't a slight to, I want to make this clear, this isn't a slight to Chris Brown.
You ain't got to make that clear. Just being in the same conversation as Mike is no slight.
Exactly, because this has happened with other debates that we have had where we debate, compare two people and we say one is not better and people get really offended like we're discrediting them. We're not discrediting
Listen, Chris has spoken on this and he says, hell no, don't even put me in the same category as Michael Jackson.
I mean, the real debate is vocal ability, Michael, Chris Brown, or Quavo. Writing ability.
Bye, Rory.
Oh, my bad.
Y'all sounded sick as fuck. I know you look at that clip every fucking week and be like, yo, what?
Oh, I was
no, because I knew the context. We're not going to have the convo.
Yeah.
But it wasn't what context?
No,
doesn't matter.
We're not
All right, I'm trying to get...
what context? Tell me the context.
I don't have a context. I was wrong.
The conversation was never even about music.
It was about notoriety at the time.
It had nothing to do
no matter
with music.
what the fuck it was about, Quavo is nothing nowhere near Chris Brown. I don't know what context y'all talking about. Notoriety, hot, on fire, socially, street brand wearing. I don't give a fuck what the fuck y'all was talking about. Quavo is never on any level with Chris Brown.
He wears rude better.
I don't give a fuck what he wears.
Moving on. Do you think people ever had this conversation about Usher?
Usher and who?
Usher and Chris Brown.
People have had
we've had that conversation.
But I just feel like people
that's
are like...
a better conversation,
that's
not
what I feel like niggas just skipped like a couple years and just went straight to Michael.
Yeah, like Mike, well, y'all niggas better... Man, listen, but again, I love how Chris, when he spoke on it, he was like, don't even put me...
Leave me alone.
Yeah, like, don't even... No, like, I'm nowhere near Michael Jackson. Like, what are y'all talking about?
I'm trying to understand his basketball comparison, and I think I'm going to try to make one in defense of Chris Brown maybe being better as far as attributes, but not the better player. There's probably people that dribble better than LeBron, shoot better than LeBron.
Probably. Yeah.
Rebound.
Statistically, you can see it.
But when it comes down to it, LeBron is a better scorer. He's a better player. His dribble is not better than people that are under him.
Kyrie Irving.
I'm not even saying different players with each attribute. I think there's probably a straight up player that can dribble, shoot, rebound, everything better than LeBron when you go through each stat the way they broke this down.
Mm-hmm.
But they are not a better player than LeBron James.
Right.
It's not even close. So I think that's what Tank was trying to get at. Like,
No,
if you break down each attribute, if this was NBA Live and you're doing creative player, like, Chris would have better stats, but he's not a better player. Like, just look at the discography.
He would have better stats than who?
Then Mike, if you're going
Nobody
through,
has better stats than Mike. What are you talking about right now?
I mean, Tank broke it down.
Man, niggas gotta listen, bro. I love Tank, but niggas is tripping.
Drake got more #1 hits than him, so...
It's true.
And what that mean?
Yo, I'm just saying, you said stats. That's all.
Yeah, but this is a different streaming era. It's different. It's different. And you know that. You know that. Drake can't go on no stage and stand there for 5 minutes and bitches start fainting. That's not happening.
Well, I also think that a lot of that has to, and this is not shade to Michael. Y'all know how I feel about Michael. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Drake is so accessible. I think if Drake wasn't as accessible, I think that might be a different conversation. Accessible. Shut up, Julian.
Sorry.
God damn, you can throw in. Accessible. Like, if he was like Michael in that, it's like, yeah, standing in front of Michael is insane because you can't do that anywhere. I go to Turks and see Drake. Houston. You see what I'm saying? Like, the same way with Beyonce. The same way
when the
with
last
Beyonce.
time you watched a Michael Jackson performance, like a full performance?
Let me tell you something, baby. I used to go to sleep to Michael Jackson performances.
I'm saying, but when was the last time?
maybe 2 weeks ago, I was getting ready to one.
There's nobody that will ever come close to
I'm not comparing them at
Nobody.
all. What I'm saying is when you simply off when you said bitches aren't fainting when they see Drake, I think that's because of access. The same way that people might not faint when they see Drake.
No, I'm talking about on stage. I'm not talking about.
I'm aware.
No artist can just go on stage and stand there for 5 minutes and not say a single word and have people screaming to the top of their lungs and fainting. Nobody.
Beyonce might give you a run for your money on that.
She fuck screaming. She made a whole stadium get quiet. To me, that's tougher. I forgot what comedian it was. Said, yeah, can you make them laugh, but can you make them be quiet? That's when you're really talented at your craft. When you get everybody to stop what the fuck they're doing and just listen.
And then the people
Fuck
that
the
were
scream.
screaming, the people that were screaming during the mute challenge,
That ain't hard.
other fans were
I do that
swinging
at
on
every
them.
show we
Like,
have. That ain't hard to do to get everybody to show.
Talking about on this level.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess. But Beyonce is one of those ones too that we
I
put
think it was George Carlin.
close to that.
but I also think that one of the reasons for that is the allure, the lack of access that you have to Beyonce. I think that is why.
Yeah, that
So-
adds to it. One of Mike's biggest attributes was his mystique, his aura.
Exactly.
Like that was one of his biggest attributes. But I mean, with that comes you have to be a big star as well, though, to have that mystique around you. So